Hello, my name's Lesley Atherton, and this is a short story of mine called Omelette Again. Karina lay shaking with racing heart that beat with a kettle drum's bouncing tenacity and strength directly onto the floor of the featureless dining room. She was bound so tightly that the ropes almost severed her wrists and ankles, staking out and separating her feet from the rest of her body. Even the old sprigged cotton eiderdown couldn't prettify this scene, though once she was fetally positioned, the quilt's placement had disguised her binding and battering. She had been bound, then covered, as if sleeping. She shivered and sobbed as she once again thought of what had brought her to this. It was her husband Peter's dinner. He had always been a man who knew what he wanted, and who ensured that he always instructed her accordingly. Today's instruction had been for a lightly cooked cheese omelette and chips, and she cooked, hopeful that today was going to be a good day, and that Peter would be as loving as she was sure he ever could be, if only she got things right. But she was always such a disappointment. Inevitably something had gone wrong again. His eyes told the story even before his lips did, and she had no time to duck before he sent the plate flying across the table, straight at her. Maybe the eggs were overcooked, or she had failed to provide him with ketchup, baked beans, or HP sauce. What was it this time? Then, with the sharp bread knife against her throat and the beautifully folded triangular napkin, shiny with cooking grease, fluttering to the floor, Peter pushed her frail body down too. She lay straight and horizontal, stiff and badly scarred by one too many similar encounters. She had no innocence about what would happen next, and knew she would not be allowed or able to protect herself. Best to lie still and get it over with, again. And later, perhaps she would be forced to clean up the food scraps and broken plate, maybe with a teaspoon or her tongue and teeth, depending on the severity of her crime and how Peter felt. You were lying, Karina. You said, "Yes, Peter, I will do that," when I ordered roast chicken, and look at this, omelette. Yesterday you said, "Yes, Peter, I would do that," when I ordered turkey crown, and all I got was cheese sandwiches. You lied, and I am not happy, Karina. You have let me down again. You have let me down and must be punished. He had ordered an omelette. She knew he had. He usually wanted meat, so his order had been a surprise. She'd asked again, "Are you sure you want an omelette, Peter?" His expression told her not to question further. He had definitely ordered an omelette. "But you ordered an omelette, I know you did." Karina's face was white with fear. It wasn't like her to ever talk back to him. "How dare you? You do not interrupt. I thought you understood that, Karina." "I'm not. I just misunderstood, and you gave the wrong orders," she blurted out, then quietened and curled up a little, realizing her grave error. "Me wrong? Me? I'm not the one whose potatoes look like they've been cut with a fucking axe. You useless piece of shit," he yelled, kneeling forward with his face so close to hers that she could feel his furiously hot breath. Karina started crying with tears of terror and knowledge of the inevitable circular nature of Peter's punishments. "But Peter, I didn't. Of course I didn't. I used the knife." But it was too late. Before Karina was able to comprehend what was about to happen, he reached for the contents of his special kitchen drawer, and the usual bindings were applied, this time so tightly that she could barely breathe. Then the beating began. Again. And Karina, who had always tried so hard to calm and cool him, to feed him, to love him, to pacify him, Karina, who had tried her best, was bound and left on the cold, clean floor, covered with the flower-sprigged eiderdown. Bound and cold and left alone. This time to die, exhausted, bruised and battered. She may have been bruised and battered, but she was not mistaken. As Karina's heart slowed and eventually stopped, even through the agonizing pain, her long-awaited final rebellion came. Her final thought, he did order omelette. He did. and she was free of him.